Hello and welcome to another episode of No Load Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young,
What's good, no load time? Joel here. Glad to be back with you, my friend, to infinity and beyond.
and beyond. How are you, man? Good to see
I'm
you.
doing really good. Yeah, it's been great to see you too, man. It's been a busy last few weeks. Schedule's been a little crazy, but Spider-Man has been there to help me get through.
You
And
get
I
a,
tell
a
you, what a
warm
great
hug
time.
from Spider-Man when you come home.
It is like what the best timing personally for this game to come out. Like it is such a great fun thing just to spend a couple minutes, a couple hours trying to be generous. I've been spending a lot of time here
Right, right.
playing that game, but just sucks you in.
Yeah, man. Where you at? How many hours are you in it
Okay,
right now?
so I am probably 7, 8 hours, maybe 9 hours.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk spoilers where I am or
Um, did you pass Coney Island?
no?
Okay. So we cannot go into details, sir. It was a good sequence. You'll
Yeah.
get there. You'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's great. I haven't gone back and checked the flag. I didn't QC the flag, man.
Uh
I wanted to go back and QC it, but I'll find time this weekend and go and check
just
it
to
out.
go, just do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. It's again like I wanna progress, right? But then it's like, oh yeah, I'm on the way to this mission, and then there's this crime happening, and then you find one of those Sandman memories, and the spider boss, right? It's like you get sidetracked, man.
Totally.
That's just a lot. So, which is good, right? Because at first they were saying, oh, the game's not really too long, but now, like I'm what, about 8 9 hours in, and it's saying that it's at
Yeah.
like 27%, something like
And
that. So
and that's what's held me up too is really just the side stuff. Like when you
yeah,
when you get in, there's just so much to do. You jump in with a matter of moments. You're swinging through New York, and you're like, oh wait, there's this thing and there's
right.
that thing, and I want to do all the things
And
because it's not just like a side quest of like annoying, but they're fun. Like they're just
they are,
little.
yeah, yeah, and I always forget about the app to check the app,
True.
because
Yep.
they give you the side quest listed there, and which party can be playable and during that sequence, or if
Totally.
it's like an exclusive sequence to like Miles, right? So yeah, I know I'm still having a great time. Yeah, I'm past the Coney Island segment, and yeah, no, they're doing pretty good progress. But yeah, I'm trying to stay spoiler free. I haven't looked at anything and any updates. I've seen a few pictures here and there, which is unfortunate, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's no real way to crack on YouTube's the thumbnails. It's
Right.
tough, right? It's unfortunate that people decide to go ahead and ruin it for everyone. So it's like I hate whenever they do that for like the Star Wars shows, and like the
Oh
reaction for this
yeah.
episode, and here's the face of the cameo character. It's great. Thank you
and and
guys.
and and that's why like even when we put out our clips and Ovid, you usually put together those clips here on our channel, on our YouTube channel, of like stuff of talking about recapping. Like with Ahsoka, we did that. You chose non-spoilers imagery, nothing that's gonna like destroy people's,
Yeah.
whatever. It was very I could tell very good choices, but great titles too to kind of pull people in. That's a way to do it, right? Like get people interested, but don't manipulate or expose them to something that they didn't sign up for. They didn't
Right.
know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Like I said, I'm still having a great time. And I can't wait to go back and play
Yeah.
some more because it's real good. Yeah. But what's the last thing that you did? Like the last big thing?
Yeah, the last big thing was the destruction of Harry's and Peter's lab.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm probably not that far behind
No, you're not.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah, I'm
destruction.
probably right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean the
Norman's been
experimentation
pretty cool
of
to
the,
have
of
him
the
there.
lab, right? Yeah. So
Right, 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 right,
right,
right.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So you're not far behind. Yeah, it's I'm
No,
past that sequence, and I'm past the sequence that comes after that. Um, and that's
it
yeah,
goes
that's
back
where I
to
am.
Miles.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which is very interesting how they did the if you I don't know if it's happened to you, like if you
Mm-hmm.
approach if you're playing out as Miles, right, and you approach one of Peter's story bits, it'll switch you
Switch.
over, yeah, automatically.
Yeah.
I think that's cool because they're showcasing the hardware, right? But it's kind of annoying because it's like, no,
I was just going as this guy. Yeah.
I was just trying to go somewhere else, and
It's
it's
true.
kind of
It's
like the
true.
game kind of prepping you for that. So, that's
Did you
fine.
see the Nelson and Murdoch thing?
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, and
Like
they
someone
posted this
found the sign and
thing,
then
and
they
this
removed it and then
supposedly.
they put it back in. Yeah.
So there's stuff there. Like this next, whatever the third game
Or
could be
DLC.
Daredevil in there
Yeah. Or yeah, or DLC because
or DLC. Yeah.
they could definitely do something cool with that. So yeah, good stuff, man. It's probably still great. All right, Loki. Eh, man, I really wish I would be
Yeah.
watching right now because
I
I don't know,
know.
bro. And which IGN? What are you guys drinking before watching this shows, man? It's good. It's good. It was really good. Um, there's actually like stakes in it, right? And I'm glad we're going spoilers, right? Again, you guys are warned as always, but I'm glad that I was wrong. And a lot of the stuff that I said is like, oh, I don't trust the timely guy. He actually, ended up not being a backstabber and ended up actually trying
Totally.
to help him out, right?
Totally.
So that was cool to see. Um, Man, Renslayer, that's where's she gonna end up at, right? She
Yeah.
got pruned. Is she gonna end up at the place at the, I guess the place at the end of time or whatever those other Lokis were at the, I guess at the end of the first season. So that's interesting. Um, is this their way of saying, yo, this show takes place after the Marvels and we're resetting everything? Are they gonna
Wow.
come out with an official timeline and say that the show actually takes place after the Marvels and they're resetting? Like, because as far as we know, next year we'll talk about it extensively later on. Um, as far as we know, next year there's nothing happening, and I don't want to elaborate too much, right? Because we'll talk about it later, but this would be the perfect opportunity for them to just, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So so
Yeah. I think that clearly that ending, spoilers, guys, for the fourth episode of Loki season two was one thing I didn't expect, but I didn't have a shock. Again, some people watching it were actually shocked. Oh, but I don't know about you, but the second that Victor opens the door, walks out, becomes spaghetti, I started laughing.
spaghetti.
I started like the person watching with me was like, I did not expect you to have that reaction. I'm like, I just genuinely just thought it was funny.
Yeah, because it
But
was
at the
like
same,
it was like the fibers of like existence,
yeah,
right? Kind of like it's kind of like symbolic of your fibers getting like
sure.
undone. So yeah,
Totally, totally. Like it's traumatizing to go through, but it's hilarious the way they portray because he's still like you're like seconds away. He's gonna run out and he's gonna do this thing, and then he gone.
yeah,
The
yeah,
whole they spent like 2, 3 episodes straight trying to find this guy, and in a matter of like 2 seconds, he's spaghetti. Like that's that's insane, right? Like when you really think about big picture. But I say that to say that like I don't think they just wiped everything clear. I don't think that's what they did. Because if that was the case, I think that actually would be more problematic considering everything that happened. And then that's what goes on. People be like, you kidding me? Like, did Loki not take this seriously enough? I think that there's something to be said about Miss Minutes, and she knows a lot. She knows him better than himself to some extent because
right.
these variants of him doesn't know the full power of himself because she was the only one with the He Who Remains, variant of Kang that knows the timeline and created the timeline, and in his death is still trying to carry out the timeline plans. But yeah, like totally, I've heard the rumors. I don't know. Maybe the episode right now is having it. Maybe it's the finale. Maybe it doesn't happen at all. But the talk of of one of the variants being the Beyonder. And if that is the case, that would be the person who would be like, you know, resets, but really just more so replays maybe an event if they really want to.
Hmm. Okay.
I personally feel like it's just like how Loki saw himself in the elevator sequence. You're gonna have a replay of events. Like you're gonna relive what happened in that moment. And it will be
Right.
something to be revealed.
And
Maybe
that,
not a full episode part of it, but that's my theory.
yeah, and that's another one. What happened to the past Loki? They got pruned. So
Right.
yeah,
No, totally.
yeah,
Because if you prune yourself in the past, but you exist in the future, wouldn't that wipe you away from the future?
right,
So
right, right.
that's why I think there's a third variation of something else that already happened
Okay,
that
okay,
we
okay.
didn't see yet.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that's cool. No, go. Do you see the theory that Ouroboros is a variant?
I try to think so too. I could
Yeah,
see that
yeah.
totally.
So
Yeah.
they're saying that
The other one's happy and whatever.
it's Kang the QENG, and
Huh.
that's the variant, and then he like abducted him, brought him into there, right, and then wiped his memory, so and had
Yeah,
him
I could see
work
that.
like building the TVA, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's there's that rumor, right, and that's why he understands everything that it's on the on the book, like, oh yeah, it's like this is the same book that I used to build it. It was based on this thing that I, yeah. So that's why he
Mm,
understands, and he understood timely so well when they were talking. So
true. I
um,
could see that.
so that's a cool rumor there. Like that would be a really good plot twist. Like if they do that and have this you know lovable guy be an actual variant. Well, I mean he doesn't know, right? Clearly his
I
memory is
don't
gone.
love
So.
Ouroboros personally. OB.
Mm-hmm.
I don't personally love him. And I don't hate him either, but like I don't I it's I don't know why it's very mediocre. Like his scenes are not my favorite scenes. Like I can't wait for like it to get back into the meat of stuff. It feels a little side quest a little.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
yet it's so important. Like his
It
role is
is, yeah.
actually very important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about him, dude, but we'll talk a little bit about the House of Mouse here, but there's some statistics around as well this show that I think it'd be a little fascinating when people really think about it.
Right. Yep. No, but again, overall, good
Oh
episode,
yeah, I
man.
like
I
it.
think overall
Totally.
it's been it's pretty consistent, right? And
Yes.
there hasn't been any downtime, like we said, and stuff's happening, and the acting's good, and again, big shout out to like the artists that worked on this show, like you know, costumes and decorations, set construction, and all this. So
Totally.
it's absolutely phenomenal. So um, yeah, definitely looking forward to see what comes next. And again, I wish I would be watching it right now. I was
I
like,
know.
I'm probably gonna have to wait until the weekend. I know that you're probably gonna jump in right
Oh,
after the
I'm
show.
watching it
So
tonight. Once we're done here, I'm out.
yeah, I know you are. So, but yeah, I'll watch it over the weekend. I'll try to stay away from spoilers. So, yeah, we'll see that. Um, all right, so we got a couple of news that we want to, I guess, get out of the way. Since, like we said, this is we're going to talk about Disney extensively here in a second. So, um, there is Joel apparently or allegedly, no, well, not allegedly because there is a patent that Nintendo filed
Yeah,
for a device with two screens, kind of like the 3DS. And
I love that.
well, this is the rumor is that this thing is gonna be the next Switch. I don't know how.
I
It's like is it
know.
gonna be a screen controller, which would be awful, if you ask me.
Sure, sure.
Um, and there's that rumor that well on the patent, I mean that it's detachable, that you can detach the one of the screens, and then I'm assuming that one of those screens will be plugged into a dock of sorts to project to a TV. I just don't want the controller to be a screen, man. I don't. I don't like that idea. It's basically the reason that I don't play mobile games because I just can't do it.
Mm,
I
yeah.
tried. I really tried, and I can't play mobile games on with screen controllers. So, um, very interesting design. I mean, of course, there's nothing concrete about it, but it's out there, and it does look like a next gen 3DS if you ask me. They don't have any button layout. Actually, looking at it from the patent pictures, they seem to have shoulder buttons
Hmm.
and a stick, but it doesn't have any button layout. So maybe they're just trying to, um, I guess, make sure that they own the concept first, and then they'll add it. And we sort of saw this with the PlayStation VR, where the controllers didn't have buttons or
Right.
things like that. So
Just
uh,
the peripherals.
yeah, but right now the assumption will be that the next Nintendo device will be again a dual screen device. So maybe this is maybe they're doing this because they want to bring uh, DS and 3DS games to the Nintendo Online subscription, and maybe do like another tier, like a super premium tier, instead of extra or plus whatever they call it. Uh, call it like a premium or extra extra or whatever they want to call it, but or a super tier, right? They can use that super moniker that they
Yeah.
used for the consoles before, um, and maybe add those games. And playing those games on a TV could be kind of tricky, but if you have a device that's dedicated that supports dual screens, that could be a reasoning why, because they probably just want to bring some of those games out again. So, but yeah, what do you think?
I think personally, this is not the new Switch. I think this is an additional unit because I think that they are at the place now where like how you had like the Switch is almost like your Wii, and then you had your DS as like your secondary handheld.
Mm,
I think they can live in a market where they have both, where if you're gonna have your new Switch be more graphics intensive, like you need to have maybe a more less graphics intensive portable unit, and clearly the DS was very loved, very successful, one of the big staples of Nintendo in
yeah,
the recent years.
yeah.
And I think to go back to it and try it where they have nothing but success, they can make the try and hopefully not botch the Switch and let that still be its thing. Like that's what I would like to see. That's just me theorizing. There's nothing to base this on. This very well could be, like you're saying, the second iteration of Switch, and it has this extra piece to it. And I could see that, like what you're saying about separating and one part goes to the dock and the other part doesn't. Just sounds a little weird to me. I don't know. I would like to see this be personally a separate unit, even though you would think, why? Well, you said it before, Obed. Like, there is a very strong possibility that there's going to be two versions of already the new Switch, one that is completely docked, no portable screen, and then there's one that does have the portable element to it as well. And if that's the case, I could see more people buying the docked only version in essence, and this working as a secondary unit as well. I could totally see this being the case, but
Okay.
that's just me theorizing.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I just don't think that they're going to split their user base anymore. I think they're going for.
Mm,
I think they worked hard to unify it with the Switch, and they pulled it off, right?
hmm.
So I think the concept of the hybrid console will continue for the foreseeable future at Nintendo. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, but there's another rumor that's out there, right? This one's definitely rumor, not like unlike the patent, which there's proof for it.
Yeah.
But allegedly, the pricing is gonna be like $399 for the digital or the old digital one that's not gonna be backwards compatible, and $450 or $449 for the one that would have a Switch cartridge slot in it. So yeah, I mean they can probably still use the same format. They did it for the Game Boy,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah,
Game Boy Color, they use the same format. Um, the DS and the DSi games use the same format. So they could, and even the 3DS and the new 3DS compatible games
yeah,
use the same format. So they can probably just keep using the same, right? Even if it's for newer games. They've had a good run with physical media, and then uh, upgrading as they go, right? They don't need to make all these cartridges 64 gigs or whatever if they're not going to use the space, right? The manufacturing costs could, it could be lower, like the game that requires 10 gigs versus like a Zelda that requires 60 or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting year next year. That on top of the phenomenal year that's been it's been 2023, but yeah, we'll see.
yeah,
And on the PlayStation side, the PlayStation Pulse Explore earbuds have a release date. They are coming out December
yeah.
6th for $199, and the Pulse Elite wireless headset comes out next year, February 21st. So right on time for Christmas. I I want them, the earbuds. It's just that 199 is a lot of money for earbuds,
It's a lot of
right?
money.
Um, and I mean, granted that you can use them as your headset, right? You can take them with you and whatnot. But I like my gaming stuff to be dedicated. And I was like, I don't want to take my PlayStation branded earbuds outside in the wild, but
Wild.
but yeah, outside of the in the wilderness,
You're afraid of Craven or something?
concrete jungle. Yeah, I don't wanna do that. But I do want to get them just because of comfort, right? It's like I would rather use earbuds than use the overhead headsets. I've talked about it many times already. So I would like them. I would like to actually get them. If I find them out there and I don't have, if they have money burning a hole in my pocket, which thanks a lot insurance, um, I can probably just go ahead and wing it and get them. So you know, have a little personalized Christmas gift there for me. So yeah, but are you interested on any of these, sir?
Oh, for sure. I think I'm interested on both of them. This clearly has my attention more than the portal. And I think just in general, like I think the demand for better designs based off of what happened with the Pulse at launch and people being like, hey, this isn't as comfy as I'd like it to be. I
Yeah,
like that they didn't just stick it out, but that they brought in these two new different options. And I think the earbuds being $50 more versus the headset, like for me, that's a bit much, but
yeah,
they're trying to compete with like AirPods and stuff like that, and it's very much to me priced at market is what I'll say. Like it's expensive for me, but
right.
it's not something that doesn't make sense. Like where it's like that's way too much
Yeah,
money. Like it's actually in its space of what it is. That's fair. Like versus they
exactly.
would have come out and said it was 250 or 225. I've said sorry, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous now.
Yeah,
But 199, I get it.
yeah. Why not? 199 is not bad. Yeah. So that's out there. All right, Joel. I guess without further ado, it's time. Let's bring down the house. Disney, what are you doing? Joel, as so may ask, what the heck is going on over at the Mouse House?
Whew, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. A little dirty laundry was aired
We're going.
this
Well, I
week.
guess we're going to deliver some tough love now
Yeah.
for Disney. So
I mean, do you maybe before we talk about Mavel, maybe we should talk about Seven Dwarves and Snow White.
right. So
Let's start off with
let's
them.
start with that for the third week in a row. We're going to talk about Snow White. So they Disney put out a picture out there. Well, first they announced. Well, they did it at the same time, right? They announced that the movie got delayed a year,
Yeah,
and so now it's coming out
2025.
2025, and they put out a picture out there, which totally looks like Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. I get they did it, and this is to reassure people that this is going to be Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And
Yep,
like on top of that, they're basically, I guess they're not directly telling us that they're doing it, but they're redoing everything. Like they're
for
redoing
sure.
they probably rewrote the whole thing, and they're gonna redo whatever was done before the strikes and whatnot. So yeah, man, this thing's gonna get a full rework. The,
Which is great. Which is great.
yeah,
Like because based on the things we were hearing and the things we were seeing, it sounded like it was not trending in the right direction. And like think about it, Obed. The writer strike is over. The actor strike is ongoing. SAG-AFTRA is still having their negotiations, but the WGA, they're good. They're back to work. And if you're going to rewrite this thing and re-put this thing together, sounds to me like this is a part of it.
yep,
Like you have been given time now to start putting this thing out. And then not only is it time, is in like, hey, work on this real fast in the next couple weeks, next couple months, we'll have this thing going. Like 2025, you've got a whole slew of time now to really get it right. I think plenty of time. And then the image coming out, ooh, that was like when Disney did that, that was a huge PR move
yeah,
because they wanted to make it very clear
yes.
we've seen everything, we've heard everything, and now like
It
we
was
are
like
wiping
Sonic.
out.
It was like
Yes,
Sonic.
it was like
It
Sonic.
was like Sonic.
Yes,
Yeah,
because and even and the picture itself, it's a still. It's not a moving graphic. So I can only hope and pray that the way the actual dwarves look, because it's clearly CGI based on just the image alone, that it works really well because that needs to be really strong.
mm-hmm.
But the fact that they actually look the way they looked in the Disney original
Right. Which
animation,
is not
which
what
is
we
what the
heard.
complaints were,
Yeah,
right?
we
Because the
not.
set pictures we saw
Yep,
was like people who were not real life dwarves,
yep.
but supposedly being more diverse, but not in the ways we would have thought. And I'm like, hold on a second, these are fantasy creatures. Like
Right, right, right.
there's a way of doing this, where maybe you just don't even call them the dwarves at that point, because if they're not going to be literal dwarves, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just saying there are real life people who are literally dwarves. Like that's their height. That's the thing. And
Right.
Star Wars has been known for cast people like that. And it's like if you weren't going to be bringing in real dwarves, but you're saying you're doing this based on diverse, to me, that was a big red flag when I really thought about it. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
you're saying you're being diverse, but the very community who's not being represented here is being represented by someone else in a different way. I'm glad just from that standpoint alone. I
Totally.
think people took a step back. This was not oh, a certain group of people won because of this picture. Because there's people out there who are saying
I,
like, oh, they won and they caved to them. No, this isn't.
this is a win
This is
for
actually
everyone, I
them
think.
listening. Yes.
Yeah.
Does that mean that suddenly now that the project's good? I don't know. I don't
Right.
want a live action make of this movie. I'm sticking to the script. I didn't ask for this. But that just saying like based on just a step backwards and thinking all things considered, it's a sign that they're taking it a little more serious, and I appreciate that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is not the first time that this sort of things happen, right? this happened with Justice League is the best example, right?
Yeah.
Where production got shut down,
Yeah.
and then they reworked the script, and that's the best example again. I mean, for the worst, right? In the case of Justice League, but in this case, it looks like they're making the right choices, right? And it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to accept that you're wrong, right? In this
Correct.
case, right?
It was
Because
time to do it.
and we've said it, right? It's like we should be able to meet in the middle, and not
Mm-hmm.
pull to the right or the left, right? We should be able to be in the middle, like
Level headed.
yeah, and you gotta take into consideration, man, that uh, the original movie was successful for a reason, right? And not only because it was the first animated feature film, but it's there's a reason why it's been it's I guess it's cherished as it is even today, right?
Yeah.
Because and we were already vocal about what Rachel Segler said about it out there, like, oh, this is not 1939. I don't care. The first movie is still beloved, right? And you know, I appreciate the effort on their end in trying to course correct this, because if you thought that there was if you thought the She Hulk was a a train wreck, this was gonna be, in my opinion, dude, shaping out to be an even worse. This was gonna be probably one of the first, if not nails in the coffin for like Disney as we know it, right?
If the
Oh,
sale would have happened after this movie,
right. Well, yeah, 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 yeah.
the phone call would have come in and it's
Right,
like, you guys want to make a deal?
right.
It's funny, you predicted that this movie wasn't gonna happen. I told you it's still gonna happen. They have to commit.
Well, technically, it's
Uh,
not gonna happen. It's
but
gonna be a
you,
new
but
movie.
that's what I was say. You and me are like the Flash on this, right?
Right,
We're
right,
like that movie still doesn't exist
right. Yeah,
because the whole thing got changed.
yeah.
So I think it's kind of like if you think about it, it is kind of those circumstances where it's like they're still saying they committed to doing it, but this is not the same movie at all. They fundamentally changed it. Now I'm curious because like we are because of the strike going on, and Zegler's been still vocal even in the midst of it. But regardless, I doubt that she knew. I'm just saying this right now. I feel like I doubt that she even knows what the new story is, what that they even switched it over from the
Mm,
other dwarves to now the CGI. She
interesting.
probably found out when everyone else. It would not shock me, personally,
Yeah, yeah,
because of the
yeah.
strike. Like they can't be
Right.
talking to them about any of work or anything like that. And the studio decided to put this image out there and Photoshop out some other people staying behind and instead put in some CGI characters. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
Like that was a clear PR move, but don't be shocked if she comes out saying something like they changed this thing and that was not what we talked about originally. I could totally see that script coming out, bro. Just
Yeah.
don't remember this.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you think that there's a possibility that she'll get replaced?
No,
No.
I think they'll cancel the movie before they replace her. You can replace the dwarves. I don't think like that's a bad like that would have been the time to have done it. I think they doubled down of like we're doing this,
Okay.
but
Okay.
we're changing things up.
Right.
That was
Right.
their way to shut up the people who were saying like this isn't happening. Was to say
Right.
like oh
And then
we're
at
putting
the
the picture
yeah
out because they didn't have to do that.
at the end of the day, she's under contract already, and
Right.
it's like the Wolverine origins,
Yep.
where they were getting faxes overnight for what the
Yep.
script was going to be for the next day because they didn't no one knew what it was. Right.
Correct.
Right. So, but in this case, hopefully they'll have the time to actually just, be able to at least produce a
Open.
decent
When's the
movie.
last time you've used a fax machine?
Bro, I don't know, man.
No one asked you to support
Probably,
that
probably
stuff.
when I was trying to buy the house, and I had to fax something to like the people that did the closing, that which
Like 6 years ago
I
or
don't know,
something. Or
I did it from work because who's got a fax machine, right? Right.
oh
So
man, that's
I
how
don't
old
know.
that X-Men movie was.
Yeah,
Fax
it's like
machine.
we'd have to go to like the FedEx store, UPS store to do it because, like, no, unfortunately, that was one of the things that Back to the Future Part Two did not nail, It was that multiple fax machines in the house. We don't need paper. We just can read it off our phones, right? So yeah, man. Very very interesting, but it's I guess all right. So I saw Star Wars Theory posted a video this morning. Um, he was angry and with reason, right? That She Hulk's budget got out there,
Oh yeah.
and it was what around $250 million more than the
Yes.
first Avengers movie.
Yes.
Obi Wan, who is a pillar character, a legacy character, um, they only got 90 million for his show.
Yeah.
How where did the She Hulk people spend $250 million, dude?
This feels like the Green Lantern, like the Green Lantern movie when you found out how much money that was one of like the most expensive movies or something of its time,
Yeah,
and there's nothing to show for it. Like this is historically one of the things that will stop certain people or and my I'm not saying that I wish people not to have work. I'm not saying people get chances. There's probably a lot more to the story, but just in general, Obed, this is the kind of stuff that as an executive you see this and you go, I don't think these people are competent to be running any type of show right now.
no.
Like they need to take a step back.
It's clear that the people that were in charge of She Hulk had no clue what they were doing.
Yeah, there's no experience or no there was nobody in the room that was able to say like this is how we do things.
Yeah,
And the majority of the budget clearly went to bad CGI. So they didn't know they paid a lot of money to have CG, which is fine. That doesn't like, but they did it in the wrong way. And then like probably the very last episode is where they just probably just said like we've got a bunch of money. Let's just have her swing through the Disney Studios and have this Kevin machine and whatever, and let's go crazy and just throw the budget at this. You can tell like it was like, well, we've got money to spend. Let's just do it. And I feel very very disappointed that this was allowed. This should never like we got people out here starving in the streets, man. There's world hunger out there, bro. She Hulk, what are you doing?
yeah, man. I mean, it is by far their worst show, or the worst
Yeah.
of anything that Marvel Studios have done, right? But man, just take us into what's going on at Marvel and rumors, and then I'll go and speak up my mind about Kathleen Kennedy here in a bit.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So as we been hearing stuff, Marvel had a big bombshell report drop from Variety. Variety being one of the more credible, which is why we're covering it here. These are rumors, but these are rumors
It's
from
not
sources. Like
cosmic book news.
right. Like this, like what I'm about to say is the kind of stuff that you would expect to have seen on like a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook thread. And then it's a graphic that's like based on something that someone read on Reddit or something. It's not doesn't mean it could be, but most of the time isn't true kind of thing. It's like this is legitimately came from people on the inside. And so based on the article, I'm just gonna jump over some highlighted points. I'd really encourage people to go back and read it for their own. But one of the main things being that clearly Marvel has been struggling financially and struggling commercially with success since Endgame. And because of the amount of issues already going on with now Jonathan Majors, and obviously the personal things going on in his life with the uh, allegations and the specific case now that is being going forward, which I don't know if you saw it, Obed, but like he tried to spin it where he tried to, have charges reversed. The defendant, him, tried to get put onto the plaintiff,
Right.
and that got dismissed by the judge. Got thrown out right away without merit. Every time this thing has been tried to be thrown out or moved, it just does not get that, and that means it's heading for a very, very crazy thing. And in fact, his lawyers have demanded and really pushed, saying like we do not want this evidence to come out because it will affect his personal career. And so clearly, they have some very damning things that they are prepared to bring out into the court case from the plaintiff's side, which could, we've heard the rumors of text messages, video footage, different stuff that's not looking great. But anyways, that's all allegations. We'll see what happens in the day in court, but that's playing into what this right article of what they've said. Like they're seeing these things going on. Marvel had a leadership retreat, a creatives leadership retreat just for Marvel a bit ago. And at the retreat, the creatives came together and said, look, our idea is we need to be prepared to switch out from Kang straight to Doctor Doom as the big bad for our next Avengers film. Now, everyone had made the assumption, like if you are familiar at all with the comics of Secret Wars, you understand that Doctor Doom is a very, very big character. And to do Secret Wars without Doctor Doom would be a little weird, anyways. So yeah, like the whole theory of people saying, hey, maybe the Council of Kings doing their stuff, and then in comes Doom and literally wipes out the Council of Kings and takes a seat at the throne. Like that sounded like a joke at one point, but that could very well be real based on what we're reading here
Right.
from these articles of being the plan, and clearly that could be exciting. Just before I go forward with the other stuff, I want to give you a chance to react to that with the Jonathan Majors King
Yeah.
Doctor Doom thing.
I mean, and I know that we I remember us talking about it
For sure.
probably a while ago, maybe back when the Jonathan Major stuff came out at the beginning. I think we may have even predicted that this could be a possibility, right? Uh, I think, right, all things considered, um, I don't think and this is me putting myself in the shoes of a casual, right? I just don't think that this character, the Kang character, has connected with the audience.
Correct. Correct.
The same way that Loki did, uh, the same way that Thanos did, right? Um, and if there's a good time to do it, is now, right? I don't know how Loki's gonna end. Maybe they'll figure something out, right? Maybe those reshoots for the Marvels that happened not too long ago. Maybe that's what it is. But I think that's the right pivot at this point. Get get a character that, in my opinion, right, was just not good to begin with. Like it's really hard to fit a character like Kang uh, into movies. Like not all, again. And to a certain extent, I do believe this, right? Because that's my opinion on Watchmen. I don't think Watchmen as a graphic novel is bad. I think the movie's bad because it's so hard for to bring the graphic novel. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? A lot of people love Watchmen, right? And that's totally fine, right? I think that just the messaging and a lot of it was just dated and just was mostly relevant, and I appreciate what Watchmen was at the time, right? Um, but it's the same thing with Kang. It's just like it's the Superman problem. It's like how do we bring Superman without him being basically invincible? And it's tough, right? And then people complain when they grounded him a little bit more, like Zack Snyder did, which was the right choice in my opinion. But I just don't think Kang is a good character. Like not every comic book character is made to be put into film. Not all of them work, right? And I think Doom is the right choice at the time, right? I would have had actually gotten Doom earlier if you ask me, but it's not the villain that we deserve. Is the villain we need
Yeah.
right now. So
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that. Like that's been a big question around their Doctor Doom being a big drop. But the thing for me is I don't want to see Doctor Doom without first getting a Fantastic Four movie. So look, like you said, this is
Right.
the time now for them to start shuffling around releases and projects and maybe push that project forward and push some other projects backwards. But yeah, King, like you just were saying about it, the reaction, the response. So literally, was it today or yesterday? Hollywood Reporter, again, reputable source, came out with the Nielsen ratings for Loki. It's down 39% from season one, from the release window where we are right now.
Right.
That isn't like the very first episode had a huge numbers. It was just behind the Mandalorian season three, which had a huge opening. But it's insane to see the drop off from here. I think, like to your point, Obed, the casual people, and that's something that was mentioned in the articles, is like Quantum Mania. Like he's Kang is the lead of that movie.
Yeah.
Did not perform well. Loki season one, we didn't know he was going to be in it at the end there, but before, it was fine. But then now this season here, now down 39%, it's not resounding with audiences the way people maybe would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's a huge indicator as well about what they maybe should do. But yeah, so then carrying on from there, talking about just some of the other dirty laundry coming out here, the Marvels is the next one we'll talk about here. So this was insane. Literally, it is being projected to be potentially the worst box office open for Marvel and maybe complete box office domestically since the first Iron Man movie in 2008.
Okay.
The
So they're
worst.
back to the beginning, basically.
But the first Captain Marvel movie made $1 billion, and it goes that far back. It's being projected right now. It's looking like Blue Beetle. Like this is bad. Um, so yeah, not looking good at all. And then in the reshoots, when they were reshooting over the summer, the director left the project and did not stay on for the reshoots and started working on another film, and it angered some of the other executives and the assistant directors that are working on it because they were left to
Right.
reshoot and fix it after some very abysmal screenings that were given to some select audience members to see early cuts of the movie. So this movie, the own director themselves said, I don't like this. I'm out. like the director themselves said she was like, no,
Wow.
I'm not sticking around for even the reshoots to fix it. So there's something very wrong. I'm not saying the movie's bad, but there's clearly something very wrong with this movie, something disjointed, something there. We'll
Right.
see when it comes out. I'll definitely be checking it out in the next week when it's coming out. I already got my tickets, so stay tuned for that one. But then the next crazy thing, Obed, is then you get the news about Blade. Allegedly, in this thing, sources were saying
Yeah.
he was put as the fourth lead in certain scenes of the movie, not even as the main lead. It was majority female led film. And Mahershala Ali was mad about this. He was like, the movie's called Blade, and I'm not even like the second character, like even in my own movie.
Bro,
And
the fan backlash on that. I mean, granted that Blade has excuse me, two good movies. The third movie is not good.
yeah.
Um Fan backlash would have been like,
Oh, it would have been bad.
bro, what are you doing? Yeah, man.
It would have been bad. So yeah, that was a big one. So now, because of all the issues going on with Marvel, the budget of that film has been dropped to now under $100 million. It has taken a drastic hit.
Wow.
I think that that's a bad sign. It's a bad look showing that there's some issues there. My hope is that they go back to the Marvel Studios basics and try and get this thing, done in such a way that we'll look at the budget and be like they really used it well. But bad sign again. Fourth lead, lower budget, not great. Then you get the next bombshell that at the executive summit when these creatives came together at the retreat, they also said like we need to consider bringing back all the original Avengers. RDJ's back as Iron Man, Scarlett Johansson back as Black Widow, Chris Hemsworth back as Thor, Ruffalo back as Hulk. Obviously,
Yeah.
Chris Evans back as Captain America, and get them back
Heck, I would
in the
even bring
forefront.
back Agent Coulson. I don't care. At this
Just
point,
yeah,
yeah.
seriously. and that's been a discussion, and it clearly makes sense the amount of issues they've had since the release this make of Endgame. Like this, that makes sense to me that they would say, like, if you're looking at from a money, forget the storytelling, just even from a money standpoint, it's like
Yeah.
that worked. Why did we stop? Let's go back.
Right.
And it's funny, people keep referencing the Joe Rogan clip where he was interviewing Robert Downey Jr. and was talking about like, hey, like, do you want to come back? And RJ was like, well, I don't know. Like, like, would if I put the jersey back on, like, would that be a little weird? Like, because it died off. And it's like, no, like, they're going to need you. And here we are, flash forward in the future. And they're going to need him to put the jersey back on.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, this is wild.
Yeah.
Hey, like we knew. Sorry, guys, I hit my mic. Um, like we knew things were bad. I blame Kathleen Kennedy, and I'm telling you why, right? Um, before the South Park special came
Uh,
out, right? A few weeks ago, and there's a I don't remember if it was our original um like Snow White thing when we talked about it a few weeks ago. I don't remember if it was that or if it was something else, right? But what I was talking on the podcast saying, listen, you can pinpoint when all these properties started going sideways, and it was when Kathleen Kennedy came on
totally.
board. Like, up, we've gotten Marvel was thriving back then, right? The Avengers had just come out,
Totally.
sequels, and Winter Soldier and all this. Like it was a Marvel peak, right? When she came, and she comes in, Marvel goes sideways, um, Pixar goes sideways, and of course, we all know how what happened to Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Um, dude, is like I'm telling you that they hired her, and that mentality just spread out around
Yeah.
other parts of the company,
Yeah,
and
dude.
and here we are today. So
Yeah, there's definitely a trend, like you're saying, and you could definitely trace it back to when those decisions were being made with her in the executive chair. That's what I think fear makes me afraid of, right?
right,
Because if you bring
it's all her
back
fault.
these, if you bring back the OG Avengers, the worst thing you could do is give them like the Force Awakens Last Jedi treatment. Like you bring back these
Bro, you
characters
can't. That's the thing. You can't.
just
No.
to throw them
Mm-mm.
away to be second tier to the new characters.
Bro,
But
you
look what
cannot.
they're in. Put them on the poster and people buy tickets.
No, 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 no,
That
no,
would be
no.
a huge problem.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do that. Like I
That
think
would
that
be
would
my
be
fear.
that would be just like too much. That would be even for me, right? And I'm wearing a Marvel shirt.
He's gonna take the
I'm
shirt
gonna
and
take
just
the
be
shirt.
gone.
Yeah. I'm gonna switch it for.
All right, Greg.
No, no, no.
You know.
Bro, like
That'd be
like
too much. That'd be too
right.
much.
It's like I'm on I guess over a frozen lake with Star Wars, right? It's like I make the right step and I'm gonna fall into the frozen water, and but Marvel still like it's still they still do good stuff. Like again,
I agree. I
Loki
agree.
is good, and some of the movies that came out after Endgame, Spidey and Shang Chi,
Spidey.
and they've been
Yeah,
good, right?
totally.
But we see it, right, and that's the thing, man. Like that mentality that when she came on board and everything started going bad, right? And then you put on top of that, bro, cherry on top is freaking Bob Chapek. Like
Yeah.
that, that really derailed everything,
Yeah.
right? Because you already had this sentiment that was building up from the Kennedy faction that was spreading around the company, and then you get the worst decision ever, putting Chapek there, man. insane, dude. And that completely derailed it, and we see it now. Um, it's very unfortunate, very very unfortunate, right? There's still time to fix it again, but you gotta make the hard choices, like what you did with Snow White. It's like,
Yeah.
listen, we're hearing, we have our ears on the ground, and this is not the way to go,
Which
right?
is like how I felt they used to be. Like when Marvel was in its
Right,
peak leading up to Endgame, they totally were listening to fans.
right.
Like I don't know about you a bit. Like people, I remember like at the time, people all wanting after Batman vs Superman was announced, people were like, "We want Civil War, we want Civil War,"
Mm-hmm.
and then it was like, I remember when the Variety article came out, it was like Marvel's pulling out the bazookas and they're gonna make a Civil War. It's like they just found a way to contract these big, stars to come in to make a mini Avengers movie in time. Like they were finding ways to win,
Yeah,
and I want to see them do that again.
right, right. And that's what we want, right? Again, that's what I said. Tough love, because
Yeah.
we're putting these things out there, but they have to realize, and I don't know, I don't know what kind of reach our outlet has. I don't know if anyone at Disney, remotely close to Disney listens to us, but we wanted to see it. We want to see it succeed, but in order for it to succeed, you have to unshackle it. Like, you have to get rid of these people, right? That
Yeah.
that don't, first of all, don't care, right? And they're there not to make the company money, but to push their own personal views, and that's have been the problem again since Kathleen Kennedy came on board. So it is her fault. Like,
Bad.
I agree 100% with the South Park thing, and this is not about it's like, hey guys, we're winning, or hey guys, we're losing, right? This is
No.
about people on both ends being able to come together and go watch a movie in the movie theater and
That's
have
the
a good
great
time.
thing about that's what I liked about watching those movies. You would sit down in a movie theater, no matter who it was sitting next to you or
Right.
sitting down in front of you. I don't know who these people are, I don't care. But there was something like special about having this experience that we could watch these movies and
Yeah.
laugh together and could maybe not agree on who knows whatever else, but we're watching,
Right.
you know, Spider-Man swing around New York and it's okay.
Bro, the best
Like that's
example,
that's what I want. I want that escapism.
best
That
example I can give you, dude. Again, Mario.
Yep, Mario.
Mario is the best example. Like, you just stick to the, you stick to your roots, stick to the plan, and pull it off. Mario is the best example, man, and that's what you need to do. Um,
The world responded over $1 billion.
right, right, exactly. So that should be your I guess the what you should be aiming for, right? Just be like Mario.
Totally.
It
Totally.
because it was a movie that you go in and you have fun, and everyone have fun, and it was what it was, right? It was what it was supposed to be, and nothing more. Like, I don't want this. Yeah, not every movie has to be this life altering, existential thing, right? Like, it's like not every game needs to be near automata, right?
Yeah,
Not every
totally.
game needs to
Just
be
need
near
some of these
automata.
just fun.
Yeah, some other games, you can have in between the nearest automatas, you can have your Shredder's Revenge and your Streets of Rage 4, and your Spider-Mans and your God of Wars, right? And your Forzas and all this stuff, and of course Mario, it's in there too. So, but that's the thing. Like, not every game needs to be this, like, deep existential, transcendental thing. Yeah, you stick to the plan, right? You just stick to the plan, land the plane. That's all you need to do. And man, I why is it so
Yeah,
hard? It's not. It's not hard,
it's
dude.
not.
But
It's not.
again, you got to start with getting people in that care about what your product is. And unfortunately, Disney has become, um they've taken the human part out of HR, and
Mm,
it's
wow.
it should be DR now, like data resources, because all
It's
it's
very
data.
meta.
It
Yeah,
is. It is. Yeah, it's data.
crazy,
Like if you don't
crazy.
get check marks when they put your data through, they're not gonna call you, bro. And it's gotten to the point where they have taken that human element out and let stats do the make the choices, right?
And
And
yet the
some
stats are giving them negative stats. Like it's proving.
right, and then your right. So
But you dismiss the stats,
that's
only the
even
ones you
more,
choose. You
bro.
choose the wrong stats.
That is even more insane. Your stats are telling you that you're not doing the right thing, and
Right.
you keep doing it.
That's insanity.
It's insane, bro. How it's still like to this day, dude. How I'm just shocked that when Bob came back, like everyone's gone. Well, like a lot of people are gone, right? But I'm saying like everyone from like I think Josh tomorrow's heart is in the right place, but I dude, I would have gotten rid of everyone. Like no, all the C-level people are all gone. Sorry, enjoy your $10 million. Go home and go on a vacation somewhere nice, and let's bring people in that that innovate. And you cannot innovate if you're shackled to the status quo. So you gotta be able to break free, right? And you know sometimes just following the stats, it's not the right thing to do, right?
Right.
It pays off in some cases, right? Like, but even then, right? Uh, I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's just mind boggling, dude. Mind boggling that there's a lot of talented people that care about Star Wars specifically, right? Um, and that there's people that care about Marvel. I'm like, Kevin Feige is still there, and I know he cares, right? But in the case of Star Wars, at least, we know that Dave cares, but he can only do so much, right? He can't go over Kathleen Kennedy's head. Like, but she's gotta go. Like, I don't know what Bob's waiting for, dude. I know it's a tough choice, right? But man, if I was in Bob's shoes, dude, all these people are gone. Like I would have made a tough. Like you know what? I would, excuse my language. I would piss off the board on purpose. It's like prices are going down, and we're keeping the reservations thing. We're gonna do what Japan did, right? And it just frees the pricing at the resorts because it's already like again mind-blowingly expensive that
Yeah.
you can stay you're for a fraction of for what you spend on one night at the Grand Floridian. You can stay 3-4 nights at an Embassy Suites, which is I mean that's not as
Nice.
fancy, but it's comfortable.
It's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all you need is a room to crash and go back to the parks the next day. So but that's the thing, right? um I is just like, bro, how is your data telling you like, and you just like,
Right.
no, data's fine, no. But again, it's like you know, who's making the choices for data, right? Who's managing that data?
Well,
How are
that's the
they
thing. What's
administering?
their
Yeah,
opinions?
what's their opinions, right? Right,
You'll find the
because
data that makes you feel good about your choices. It's
that's the
easy to
thing.
find data that backs up what you
A
think. You
million
can find
percent.
it if you want.
Right, right. Oh yeah, we're doing great because look at the park attendance. Park attendance is through the roof.
Right.
I mean, this data says that everyone's not really happy, but why? People are still coming in. So at the end
Right.
of the day, it probably don't even matter, right? And I don't know, man. I like in my opinion, right? It's worth it more to experience, like in the case of the parks, right? Um, like I would rather go through the hassle of having to make a reservation than to be crammed like sardines on Main Street. You can still make money, dude. You can
Heck
still
what?
make money. It's just that they used to do it. They used to do it, man. And Eisner pulled it off. Park attendance was high, and parks were clean and well attended. And what happened? Why it's I don't know, man. It's mind blowing, dude. This whole Disney thing is just gift that keeps on giving. Because we're gonna talk about Ahsoka season 2. Yeah, they got announced or kind of pseudo confirmed or rumored that to be confirmed. We kind of knew that that was gonna happen, but um, it's just so frustrating. Like I have never seen like the only company that I can think of that has made so many bad choices recently is probably Tesla, because they make ugly cars and low quality, and they don't honor their warranties. Like it's a whole, like, Tesla's going through its own thing. Like, I really don't know like how much longer they have, honestly. Like, I don't think Tesla's going to be around for the next 10 years.
What?
Yeah. I think Tesla's going to get bought by GM or someone else, because I just don't I don't they don't have once like, bro, are you kidding me? Like all those electric BMWs that are coming out that are a million times better, and they actually like honor their warranty. Yeah, I mean, they don't. You cannot drive as long, right? You just freaking charge it. That's what the chargers, right? I don't know, bro. Still, something's telling me Tesla's gonna get.
Again, like that's a statistical thing. Market is showing people are buying them. We'll see what happens.
They're buying them, but because it's trendy. But once
Right.
they've realized that, wait, this is not as good as I thought, right? A lot of people are getting rid of them. So I don't know. You can't fix it yourself. You can't touch it. Something happens to it. You can't take it to Pepe's garage and get it fixed. You gotta
You
take
got to
it.
go
You
through their
gotta send it
manufacturer.
back to like the factory, right? It's
Yep.
insane. So
It's not a, but that's the thing. It's not a Ford. It's not a. It's a premium built vehicle. So like
it's
that's
not
kind of like
premium
what
build.
you're
That's the
buying.
thing.
Like
Well, that's
like
the thing is,
Apple. Like Apple's the same thing. Like an Apple phone breaks, and you can now have little
well, you can take
people
it to
here
the
and
Apple
there,
store and they'll fix
but
it for you, right?
you gotta go to their people, right? So
Right.
it's like
But
it's you gotta buy a Rolls Royce. You can't just walk up into
oh man, don't
anywhere,
compare a
right?
Tesla to a Rolls
I'm
Royce,
just
dude.
saying.
You're offending me, bro. I'm offended.
I'm just saying, like
Man, Joel just
they had their own
disrespected me on
market, dude.
air.
They got their they got their own market, man. And here's
I
the thing, I will say, I know people who own Teslas.
Yeah, we both
Every
do.
person
Yeah,
I know who owns them, no issues. They love them.
yeah.
So I don't know who these people are,
Up until
but I
something
can
breaks,
tell you
man.
in real life, I don't know.
Yeah, up until something breaks. I don't know. It's all, yeah. Everything works until it breaks, right? So right,
You definitely know about fixing broken things.
right,
So I
right.
respect that. I
Exactly.
respect that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
respect that.
No, but just going back to Disney, right? It's like, yeah, it's broken, and it's not too late to fix it, but they gotta make tough choices,
Yeah,
and
man.
this is
Yeah.
not like tough choices is not charging more for parking at the parks and upping their prices to unattainable levels, right? That's not how you fix it.
Yeah.
You have to fix it
Totally.
with creativity, and you have to fix it with innovation, which is what they did in the 90s, and we need someone like that again. So,
Yeah, no, I agree.
yeah.
They gotta reel it in. I know you've been predicting that this is when Kathleen will be piecing out. I also did you see Obed? I don't know how true this is, but allegedly Disney was looking to buy the full controlling rights of Hulu.
Oh,
Is
they
this
did.
did you
Yeah,
they did,
they
right?
did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Which is interesting because we've also talked about acquisitions too, like what acquisitions they may make. Not necessarily an acquisition because they already had skin in the game, but still, and it
Right.
like they're over here like, oh, we're hurting, and then like, let's go put out 8 billion and go buy the rest of Hulu. I mean, it's an interesting choice, not the one I would have saw coming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I thought they'd be
I
selling, not buying that stuff.
right, right, right. Well, now they need to integrate it with Disney Plus
Totally.
because you can't just have two
That's
separate
true.
services.
It's true.
They gotta integrate.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah.
they gotta max it like what when HBO and Discovery, right, and Discovery Plus got. Yeah, you gotta. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You know, and then you just can't have two services. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you gotta unify, dude.
Whew.
I don't know,
Disney is
man.
always good.
This Marvel stuff is insane. They gotta turn this ship around,
I
and
know.
I think if they're smart, they can take the opportunity and reset it. I don't know where Loki's gonna end at, but that would be a good opportunity for them to flip the switch there. So
Totally. Totally, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I think you're right. And I can't wait to go watch now this this episode of
Right,
Loki and see what happened because we made predictions on the air of what could happen and the truth was already going on. If you're watching this live, it's happened. So
right.
we'll see.
Yeah, man. So it's what we got. And
What
I'm,
we got. Yeah.
we'll be back. We'll be back again next week with
Maybe more
maybe
updates.
Kathleen Kennedy will be gone. No, we don't know. Oh man, my prediction is like past October and early
Yeah.
November, but I'll give it until next Friday. I send you the gif already of me eating the shrimp. But if it happens, we'll if it doesn't happen, then I'll make some arrangements for shellfish.
Oh my goodness.
Because well, I didn't bet on this one though, but I did bet on Sony uh, buying big stuff in
You
the next six
did.
months. So we'll see.
Yep, you did. It's all good, bro. No, you ever since the ever since the other one about the Nintendo Switch coming out this year or
Right,
being
right,
announced this year, you definitely changed your predictions because it's not that it was necessarily it was right but wrong timing. And
exactly.
that's the hardest thing to get is the timing on things, but I can definitely attest. Obid is very he's got a great track record of predictions in person, real life and in and in entertainment. He's timing might be tough, but
Man,
he knows what's up.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Oh
Go ahead
man,
and close it up, dude.
absolutely. Thank you all so much for sticking with us here on the show. We want to make sure you stay subscribed. So make sure you subscribe on podcast platforms of your choice, places like Spotify, Amazon Music, SoundCloud. Find us, subscribe to us, and you can also write a review on these podcast platforms that help us out for exposure to friends and family. We're not telling you to send us money. We're just telling you to support us, and we really appreciate that. You can also subscribe to our No Load Time YouTube channel. You might even be watching that right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, like the videos, write the comments, interact. We appreciate it. We support it, and we want to see you guys continue to grow with us as this community and base continues to grow. We're thankful for all the people that continue to join with us. It's been a great time for sure. Additionally, you can follow us on social media at No Load Time. It's at No Load Time. Facebook, Threads, X, TikTok, Instagram. We're on these places. Make sure you follow us. Additionally, you can also follow us on Twitch. That's No Load Time all together. If you're watching a video version, you're seeing all those handles down below. And last but not least, if you have a question, comment, or feedback, you can send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. And maybe, just maybe, we'll even talk about what you send in on a future episode. But thank you all so much for sticking with us. We got lots of coming. We'll talk more
Yep.
Spidey next week, Loki, and all the good stuff. See you guys next time.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.